Hello and welcome to the program. The Senate caucus of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has declared the party's readiness to lead a broad-based political coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections despite ongoing internal disagreements. The caucus made this declaration during a press conference held at the National Assembly on Tuesday, May 20, led by Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro. Addressing journalists, Moro stressed the internal wrangling within the PDP is not peculiar to the party alone, noting that other political parties are also grappling with their own internal issues. The caucus warned against the growing tendency to celebrate the weakening of opposition parties, stressing that such a trend threatens democratic governance and tilts the country dangerously towards a one-party system. He also urged members of the PDP nationwide to remain steadfast in their commitment, loyalty and dedication to the party, adding that the upcoming activities being planned by the party leadership would bring new life and direction, positioning the PDP as a competitive force in future elections. Well, let's discuss this proposal by the PDP. I'm joined on the program by a human rights activist and the 2019 presidential candidate of the National Action Council Party, NAC, Barrister Justice Uhuegbu. Thank you for coming on the program, sir. Now, what's your position on this proposal? Are you in support of a coalition as proposed by the PDP Senate caucus and governors, or a merger as proposed by Atiku Abubakar, that's the PDP's 2023 presidential candidate? Where do you stand?
Well, coalition and merger, they're almost the same thing. So, it's either coalition or merge, because if they are talking about merger, it means they are talking about merging with one or two other political parties to form a formidable force. If they are talking about coalition, it's also the same thing. So,
for clarity's sake, the PDP governors and Senate caucus are saying other opposition parties will be under the PDP, while the merger is most likely to form a new party altogether.
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm trying to say. If you remember, the formation of APC was a merger of AC and CPC. The two political parties are also captured in the name. So, but it depends on actually the agreements they may want to have. I think that PDP is a household name, and also being a party that have been in power in this country for a very long time. I think that is why it may be a bit difficult to change it or to look for another name. And again, remember that we also have to talk about voter awareness or about the citizens. If you talk about new political party now, a new name, I think many people might not really tune into that. You understand me? Because of the new name. And again, is also going to affect the ballot paper. And again, if you're talking about bringing a new name, maybe other political parties and PDP coming together to get a new name, I think if you're talking about it now, it might be late. It is late because it's something that would have been, election is somehow around the corner. By next year now, we'll start talking about campaigns and other things.
So if the solution to unseat the ruling party is to be joined with other parties, would that be too much or a sacrifice for the PDP?
No, it's not. For me, it's not even a matter of sacrifice. It's a matter of party. Party is different from good governance. What we have always been hearing in this country is good governance. For me, it's immaterial whether it's PDP, whether it's APC, or whether it's any political party. What Nigerians are yearning for and what we want is good governance. So the name becomes immaterial. So if they have to do away with the name and get another name, and they feel they can unseat the present administration if they feel that it's not doing well, good and fine. For me, it's not about political party. It's about leadership, as far as I'm concerned.
Is it worrisome that there seems to be no agreement of no alignment in the agreements made by the party. Members are moving in different directions. You see, the presidential candidate of the party, that's Atiku Abubakar, and governors of the PDP are not on the same page.
Well, that is the beauty of democracy. I don't see anything like that. I've always believed that in everything you do in life, you disagree to agree. But again, let us also understand a fact here that selfishness is playing a role. It's not only in PDP, in all the political parties. Look at what is happening in Labour Party also. Look at what is happening in other political parties. Even within the APC itself, look at what is happening in Lagos State because of the incoming local government election and all. It is an issue of selfishness that is playing here.
Now, so far, many party members, that's of the PDP, think that Atiku Abubakar is the major problem of the party based on his ambition to remain as the presidential candidate, not willing to drop this ambition.
Well, the truth is that in as much as every individual has a right to contest, that is franchise as provided by the Constitution, the right to vote and the right to be voted for. For me, I think it's a personal thing. For me, if I am to advise Atiku Abubakar, I would advise him in a different direction to maybe look for somebody whom he can, strongly support and put his resources and everything together to make sure that he achieves it. And you see, let me tell you one thing in life people don't understand. You might not be a king, but you might be a kingmaker. And many people, I even prefer to be a kingmaker than to be the king myself. Because the kingmaker even have more power and more influence than the king itself. So it mustn't be you, as far as I'm concerned. And again, it's not because we are in Nigeria where things are being done somehow the other way. For now, as far as I'm concerned, the leaders we say we have today are not supposed to be in politics up to now. Listen to me. While I was still in primary school, these names today were the names I was hearing that were in politics. They are still in politics today. And you're talking about the youths. The youths are the future leaders. When will this future come? I know how old I am now. But I met all of them while in primary school. I have gone to primary school, gone to secondary school, gone to university, graduated, and I become a practicing lawyer. They are still in the helm of affairs. And that is why this country is not moving forward. As far as I'm concerned, they don't have any business in governance again. All of them. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, all of them today that are in government or that say they are our leaders. And that's why they're not leading us well, because as far as I'm concerned, they don't have much to offer again. That's the truth. And again, let me also shock you. And let me also let us know this in Nigeria. The problems we are having today in the country, the governance problem, the leadership problem we're having today, these people today we're talking about that we're still hearing their names are the people that have benefited much from this country. These are the people that this country offered free education, gave bonuses, gave students loan, gave so many things. And during their time, what we're suffering today, they never suffered it. So why are they suffering us? Why are they suffering the youths and the young adults in this country? This country has done them well. And the only thing they can use to pay us back is to push us to the wall. For me, they are supposed to be like trustees, advisors. Let us take over the helm of affairs. Let them be there and guide us. That's what they should be doing by now. And not all these Buhari, who must be president, you want to be. Okay, at the end of the day, you are president for 4 years or 8 years, you will still leave. And I thank God that nothing is permanent in life. Only my only regret and anger is that they are causing a lot of harm to Nigerians, to the younger people. Look at every day, our young youths and young adults are trying to leave the country by all means. I read an article today on social media where about 4 young Nigerians were thrown inside the Atlantic Ocean because they entered the ship illegally trying to escape. And the officials got them and threw them inside the Atlantic Ocean. But though they were rescued, are we talking about the ones that always try to use the Mediterranean Sea, try to go through the desert and die off? I mean, Nigeria has become an object of mockery. Every Nigerian abroad now wants to seek asylum. Nobody wants to come to this country again. This is a country God has blessed with milk and honey, with everything. And you know, one thing, there is no state in this country that God did not bless with one natural resources or the other. Check it very well. Are you talking about gold? Are you talking about bitumen? Are you talking about silver? Are you talking about oil? I don't even want to talk about oil. I don't want to talk about the crude. We have one of the best crude in the world. And that is why every airline that wants to come to Nigeria, land in Nigeria in order to refill their tank, because Nigerian Jet A1 is the best in the whole world. Go and check the record. Palm oil today is becoming higher than crude oil. And we have it, especially in the southeast, in abundance. So what are we saying? We are fooling ourselves. In fact, they are fooling themselves, not Nigeria. But I assure you one thing, like I keep on saying, a better Nigeria is possible. And we're going to do that.
Well, I share your worry on the issue of mass migration, which is no doubt a sad development for Nigeria. Now, would it be fair for the PDP to give its ticket to Atiku Abubakar again, despite the party's losses, especially after being given chances to be the flag bearer without success?
Well, the truth is that whoever that's PDP or whoever that emerge tomorrow to be the party flag bearer is a question of personal integrity. That is not the truth. If you say somebody is not good, try to bring somebody that will outsmart that person or that would be better than that person. Or when you do the assessment and check it side by side, you know that this person will be better. So you don't go and bring somebody again whom you know that when you place it on the scale of probability or preference, the person in power is still better. So you have done nothing.
Well, let's now discuss the PDP's decision on rotation for, balancing of power. Party members believe this is also part of the crisis bedeviling the PDP. Do you think that the idea has a place in the party's ideology as we speak?
Yeah, it has been a problem. And that is why, in the wisdom of political parties, I think they made provision for rotation within the constitution of various or almost all the political parties. But the problem we have today, I keep on saying, going by what is happening in Nigeria and what we are seeing, there are no longer political parties in Nigeria. What I see that exists in Nigeria today is a group of cabal. It's no longer a political party. Because one of the characteristics of a political party is the constitution of the political party that must be supreme. Today, none of these political parties are following their constitution. And that is why in every political party, after the constitution, you see the manifesto of the party. And in those days, in the First Republic and Second Republic, it is the manifesto of the party that makes people to join the party. When you look at the manifesto of the party, you read it side by side with other political parties. You decide the one to join, the one that suits your intention or what you want. But unfortunately, they are no more there because it has been hijacked. A president will enter now, a governor will enter now. You hear, I have a 10-point agenda. I have a 16-point agenda. I have 2-point agenda. Is that the manifesto of the party? The answer is no. And again, because we have saddled ourselves with the hero worshiping, the slogan of he who pays the piper determines the tune. Whoever that is there becomes a god. The sycophancy becomes the order of the day. Nobody is interested in followership and leadership. And let me tell you, leadership is a thing of passion. Leadership is not by mouth. Your lifestyle will show it. And he who is leading and nobody is following him, you're only taking a walk. And that is why when they leave office, you see all the people who were showering praises on them will start castigating them. They were all doing it because of selfishness. Excuse me. Out of selfishness and sentiment. Because they want to have a cut of the national cake, as they used to say. It's the national cake, let me have my own cut. But is that how it should be? The 1999 Constitution, as amended, simplicity provides that the main aim of government is for the welfare and security of the people. Today, are we seeing that? So what are we saying? But I assure you, like I said before, I will say it again, that a new Nigeria is possible. Nigeria will definitely change. We will not remain like this. There's no two ways about it.
Well, all eyes are on the PDP and, of course, other opposition parties on their next step ahead of the 2027 elections. Now, Barrister Justice Uhuegwu, thank you very much for being on the program and for lending your thoughts. We appreciate your time. Well, we'll take a short break. The program will return shortly. To stay with us. Welcome back. Nigerians have reacted to the endorsement of President Bola Tinubu as the sole candidate of the All Progressives Congress (APC) for the 2027 presidential election, barely 2 years into, or let me say 2 years into his administration. While some welcome the development, others describe it as insensitive and an act of self-preservation by politicians within the ruling party. The endorsement at the National Summit held at the presidential villa in Abuja was a continuation of earlier expressions of support across various APC strongholds. While thanking the governors for their unwavering support, President Tinubu defended the wave of defections to the ruling party, asserting that no one should expect people to remain in what he described as a sinking ship. But let's discuss this further. I'm joined by political affairs analyst Dayo Akintobi. Many thanks for joining us on the program. Now, it's not surprising the endorsement of President Tinubu as the APC's presidential candidate. How would you respond to some of the statements made by the opposition, to start with, that the nation is drifting towards a one-party state?
Well, the opposition are saying that when they were in power, they were almost a one-party state as well. So now that the issue is on the other foot, they are crying about it. But when it was their turn, they were doing the same thing. So, you know, I don't accept that characterization. But yeah, you look at it and you ask yourself that people are defecting almost daily to the party, because you have to understand that in our democracy, at its level of evolution, the only purpose of a political party to a politician in Nigeria is to help him get elected. That's it. They don't need the party for anything else. So politicians will gravitate to where the grass is greener, to where they believe they can get a platform that will get them in power. Look at the most formidable opposition, the PDP, apart from the fact that it's in disarray, even its power centers, the Southeast and the South-South, they are no longer monolithically PDP anymore. APC has made inroads both in the South-South and in the Southeast, to where it's difficult for any aspiring politician today to look and say that any other party beyond the APC can get them into political office. So, you know, it looks like we are drifting towards a one-party state, which is not a good thing. But because the only way to hold a political party accountable is when it has a vibrant opposition, when it has competition that can give it a run for its money. That's the time that you know that they'll be on their toes all the time. So is it a good thing? I don't think it's a good thing to have an all-powerful party. I think we should have 2 or 3 parties that are almost equal and counterbalance each other. That's why I'm hoping that either whatever coalition talks are in place between Atiku, Obi, El-Rufai, all these people who are trying to come around, Prof. Patutomi, who are all trying to come around and form a viable coalition that will form an opposition, even if they can't unseat the APC, at least, be a credible opposition that can challenge the policy direction of the administration and offer countervailing prospects, or offer an alternative and say, okay, well, this thing they've just done is bad. If we were in power, this is how we would have done it. And then the public starts listening, and sometimes that moves the mind of the public to say, let's give these other people a try. This thing they're talking about sounds a lot better than what the current administration is doing to us. So we don't want a one-party state, that's sure. But how do you stop the drift when for now the APC is the only sure way to get into power? So politicians will move. They will move. So the only thing is for either the PDP to get its act together, maybe they need to stop being the PDP and change name and start from scratch. Maybe see who is still interested in being with them. Maybe, because it looks like PDP is damaged goods right now. The way all the infighting, they keep losing states. Another state, I think, Cross River or Akwa Ibom. The governor said the other day he's moving to APC. So it looks like PDP is damaged goods. I'm not sure it can ever get back to the level it used to be at. They tried to have a settlement meeting a few days ago. It ended in disarray and chaos and without any agreement. So as long as they still have some people who believe in the principles of the party, perhaps they should just shut down the PDP as we know it, form a new party with a new name, and start to build from there.
Well, as we know, the president has assured that these defections does not mean that Nigeria will become a one-party state. But let me get your reaction to other statements made by the opposition and other political experts that most of these defectors who have cases with the law are seeking protection from the law.
Well, that's because Adams Oshiomhole once said, the former Edo governor and former chairman of APC, he once said that once you move to the APC, all your sins are forgiven. And it seems to be that way for real, because we've seen many politicians who have cases with the FCC when they were in the opposition. When they moved to the APC, we didn't hear anything again about their case. Look at Benga Daniel, I think Adams Oshiomhole himself. There are many governors, past governors, who used to be in the opposition that the FCC arrested. And when they defected, even Godswill Akpabio, the current Senate president, has corruption cases with the FCC. The moment he became APC, we didn't hear anything about his case again. So on the surface, it looks like those who have corruption cases are seeking shelter under the ruling party to protect themselves or to immunize themselves from prosecution. But the truth is, I think, is to feather their nest. I think they are more interested in winning. And I think we see a bigger number of political players who do not necessarily have corruption cases still jumping ship to the APC. So I think the larger motivation, I'm not saying there are some people who are not trying to get immunity from prosecution, but I think the larger number of people are doing it just simply to have a viable platform from which to contest.
Finally now, the PDP has alleged that the APC is behind the crisis bedeviling, opposition parties. And that's also part of reasons why members are defecting. How possible is this?
Very possible. That's politics. That's how you play politics. You sow dissent in your enemy. You do everything to discombobulate and scatter your competition. That's politics. Politics is a dirty game. It's not just a cliche to say it's a dirty game, but that's how they play. They backstab, they betray, they bang heads together. They do everything. Look, politics is all about winning. To the winner goes the spoils. Let the loser lick his wounds. All this one about no victor, no vanquish. That's not for politics. So politics, the victor will stomp on the vanquished. The victor will even kick the vanquished while he's down. To the winner goes all the spoils. So yes, I don't doubt it for a minute that the APC is behind a lot of the crisis in the opposition. That's what the opposition too did when it was in power. When the opposition was in power, it also went out of its way to scatter the opposition. When the PDP was in power, he did everything he could to scatter any opposition there was, and it succeeded. If not for the fact that the current president and some other astute strategic politicians were able to come together and form the APC, the PDP would have continued to run roughshod over the political space for the next 60 years. Because the PDP in its own time was so formidable that even the ACN, AC, ANPP, all the APGA, all the other parties, none of them could dislodge the PDP. So if not for the fact that they were able to couple together the APC, the PDP would just continue to be the 800-pound gorilla in the room, you know? So that's politics. That's playing politics the way it's supposed to be played. Politics is not about being a gentleman. It's not about compromising per se. It's about taking the advantage, seizing the moment when you have it, carpe diem.
Well, Mr. Dayo Akintobi, thank you very much for your time and for speaking to us. We do appreciate. That's all on this episode of the program. We'll see you again next time.